So today we're going to be playing one of my favorite games. We're playing start, bench, cut. We'll go around the room. Each of y'all will tell me which running back you want to start, bench, or cut. Let's get started. So let's get started off with ball talk. Sap
Why?
up
Why
next
me?
because I know that you think this is a hard decision, and I don't want to hear a biased opinion. You're going first, Thomas. Who are you starting? Who are you bitching? Who are you cutting? Let's get started.
All right, so it's kind of difficult for me because I got them all ranked around the same, right?
So does everybody. So does everybody.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Um, but I think that and this kind of falls in line with ADP. I think Miles Sanders. I got to have him on my team one way or the other. So I think I'm gonna have Miles Sanders starting. I think he's coming off a good previous season. I see him having more of a consistent role than and staying healthy. I think has a lot to do with it. I think he has a better chance of seeing the field and being more consistent in his role than the other two. I think James Conner has a chance to have just as big of a role. The only issue with me is he's getting up there in age and he's got a new coordinator. So we don't really know exactly what it's going to look like yet. And then we have Alexander Mattison. I think Alexander Mattison might have the highest ceiling of them all, which is maybe a hot take. But at the same time, he's also the scariest player out of the three. But this is fantasy football, and scared money don't make money. So we're going to go with benching Alexander Mattison.
So that means we're cutting James Conner?
Yeah, we're cutting James Conner.
Next, we're gonna go ball talk juice. Who we starting? Who we benching? Who we cutting?
Yeah, so I'm gonna have a little bit different approach than Sap on Connor. To me, he's done nothing but prove that he's a good fantasy value over the last 5 years. Over the last 5 years, this is his points per game: 21 and a half, 14 and a half, 13, 17, and 15. That's all good numbers you'd like right there in your running back two position. It will be a bad offense, but he is no doubt the bell cow. There's no question marks. So he'll get his touches, and I'm fine taking him as my RB2 if I start off with three elite wide receivers or elite quarterback. As far as Miles Sanders, Panthers just paid him. He's a really talented running back. We've seen that over the years. He's had some up and down years in Philly, but the Panthers paid him for a reason. There's nobody behind him. Bryce Young, I don't know how much he's going to push the ball down the field. I'm sure he'll get his checkdowns in to Miles Sanders. So I definitely like him. Alexander Mattison, on the other hand, I'm not as much in on him, and it's not that it can't happen. I'll just rather take the guys without the question marks. We've never seen Mattison as a starter for back-to-back games or even half a season for 4 years in the league. I mean, he started a handful behind Dalvin, and he's been great for fantasy every time. But that's expected when the backup running back gets all the touches. I think he was at 30 touches a game, 5-6 catches a game, 25 carries. He's not going to get that this year as the RB1 at the Vikings. However, he could fall into the end zone a good amount of times, but I'm just not willing to roll that dice over these other two guys. So with that being said, I'm going to go Miles Sanders, start, James Conner, bench, Alexander Mattison, cut.
Who
What's
you
up, baby?
start? Who you starting? Who you benching? Who you cutting?
All right, off the rip. I'm starting Miles Sanders. We're gonna bench Alexander Mattison, and we're getting James Conner the hell out of here, baby. I think Miles Sanders. Miles Sanders and James Conner both have safe roles. They're obviously the lead back in both their backfields. While he is the lead back, their offenses are going to be absolutely horrible. I think James Conner could go one of two ways. Since Kyler's out right now, in this everything on the Kyler's return time is basically speculation. No one really knows when he's going to come back. I feel like he's very dependent on Kyler coming back to be any kind of have any success. Really, I feel like if Kyler comes back in the first half of the season, he'll be a good pick where he's currently being taken at right now in round five, the mid fifth, I believe. He has a safe workload. It's not necessarily going to be have any real upside to it. And he's also in the past been known as an injury-prone player. While he didn't get hurt last year, I don't think much. Multiple seasons the year before that, he was hurt in and out of the lineup all year due to injury. While the last 5 years, he did finish as the RB7, 18, 29, 6, and 10. And this year, you can get him at the 23, RB23. That's what seems like a significant discount. Going to the other end of the spectrum, Miles Sanders is going to be the guy I'm starting. He's coming off a big year, his career year last year, first 1,000-yard rushing season he's had. I feel like, just like James Conner, his workload is going to be locked in. He's going to see all the carries. The coaches have already gone out and said they view him as a three-down back, so he's going to see good passing volume. And he's been known coming out of college. He was known as a good pass catcher. He's never really had significant work behind Cook until only when Cook got hurt. And when he has, he's averaged 23 points a game, almost 24 points a game on like around 21, 22 touches. So while he hasn't been the most efficient back, I feel like he has a good opportunity. He's earned both the head coaches and offensive coordinator's trust, saying he's a three-down back.
So my analysis is going to be a lot different than the way that y'all approach this. So I'm looking at the three guys, Mattison, Sanders, and Connor, and I'm looking at them and I'm saying James Conner is the safest of the bunch. Therefore, I'm putting him on my bench. That's my logic there. James Conner is the safest guy, a guy who I think is going to for sure have, 10 to 12 points per game. He's going to be the guy that I'm putting on my bench. For my starting spot, I'm shooting for upside, baby. Give me Mattison. I'm all over Mattison, especially at his ADP. I think his upside has the potential to finish as the RB1 in fantasy football, just because of the sheer volume that fucker
Okay.
get out of that backfield. We're talking serious volume. We're talking three down back. We're talking feed this guy on the goal line. Let's get him out there. Let's catch some passes. I love Alexander Mattison this year. Definitely has RB1 upside. I'm starting Alexander Mattison.
No
Which
bias.
means that we're sending Miles Sanders to the fucking bench because I'm I'm benching James Conner and I'm starting Mattison. We're sending Miles Sanders ass to the bench. We saw him in Philly. He never panned out to what we thought he was going to be. That Panthers offense is atrocious. Like what they're going to worry about Adam Thielen? No, they're going to worry about Miles Sanders. They're going to put 8 in the box and they're going to stop that. Bryce Young's not throwing the
Good
ball.
Lord.
We're benching Sanders. Thank y'all for joining us on Ball Talk Sports, where we talk all things ball. We'll see y'all next time. Like, comment, subscribe.
Peace out, baby. We'll see
Later.
y'all. Y'all come back now.